name is Jessica Holyfield, and I'm a professional dance choreographer and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States, and we are here taking a look at the mega stage from Stage Fighter. I'm excited for this because I had already taken a look at last week's episode prior to this getting launched, and so I have an idea of the 3 individuals that were selected for this. I'm just very intrigued on how they fused all of the styles of all of the individuals participating in the show together to create a beautiful piece of art, essentially. So let's go ahead and get started.
Yeah. 최고의 폭이 아니들의 시체 쌓고 있어 위에서 dance that's my mission few understand even though I'm famous standing in front of you like Mona Lisa 내 위 보스는 넌 그것도 rumors yeah wrong 그것도 check time hand for my family 나 home 너무 willing 너는 또 하란 척이란 my joy 나는 16년째 큰 충실하게 바치지 네 soul Let it rain for you we're gon' take your role and we gon' pray to the Lord for us all light your candle in the cold it ain't safe till you wake up to this game
Cool.
Dedicated song, telling what we have. Life celebration, pull up.
Ooh, okay. Beautiful.
Dedicated song, telling what we have. Life celebration, pull up.
Okay. Okay. I don't know if I liked how this was shot, if I'm being honest, because there's so much beauty in how these men move. And I felt like I didn't get to appreciate it really nearly as much as some of the concept shoots that they did in the previous challenge. So we're going to talk through it, though. I mean, so I know that my 3 who were selected, and it's great. Also, I do want to ask you guys this question for the discussions. I'm curious with Stage Fighter specifically, if one intention of how they're structuring the show is to really showcase Korean dance. So what I mean by that is ballet has an international presence, contemporary has an international presence, but Korean dance not nearly as much. And so since Mnet has the position of placating to a global audience because of the Street Fighter franchise success, I'm curious if part of the reasoning behind some of the camera shots, like with of course Mr. Korean Dance himself, there's a lot that focus on him specifically, which he is phenomenal, do not get me wrong, but he is one of 3 main casted people, right? So I think and what really got me was the ending here, right? So we only have 2 out of the 3. What happened to Yu-chan, right? So this whole little jump situation, okay, that's fine. But even up until, I think it was a gorgeous shot, but like right here, do you know what I mean? It really feels like Yu-chan was not nearly featured as much as he was. Which, I mean, to each their own, that's fine. I just want to understand the back-end choices as to why we chose to opt for certain camera shots. Those are just that's my honest opinion. That's absolutely fine that I feel that way. Because look, like you have 3 equal cast people, right? So you have Yu-chan, Ho-jung, and Hyo-jun. I would say Hyo-jun and Ho-jung are featured way more than Yu-chan is what it feels like to me. So that's why I speak on my curiosity with whether or not, if that's like a subconscious thing Mnet's trying to do with the show, which wouldn't bother me as much. I just say be honest about it. But anyway, here we go. This beginning here, the presentation over, I like the little twinkling there to help showcase a sense of, instrumentation with the piano. The lift with the curtain is interesting. I like the interaction on that. It's cool. I personally wish we didn't cut like 3 times in the course of 5 seconds. It's unnecessary. There's too many cuts for my personal taste. It's ruining the flow, honestly, of the entire phrasing of this choreography. It's beautiful. How they're doing it is gorgeous. I have no qualms with how they're doing it. It's clean. Can I appreciate the visual? No, I can't. So the rest in that, like, that part's cool, but I also wanted to see them do it, where they're dragging him across and it's the shadow of the lift was cool. That, it just, there's so much. There's so much that happened in a very short amount of time that was just not, we've had 3 cuts. It feels, whenever you see, oh my god, when you see a Street Fighter and they have a really cool move they do in a battle and then they show like 5 different vantage points of that one move, that's what that feels like they're trying to do in a concept shoot. I don't know why, but bless it, man. So we have our feature here. That's so cool. If I'm being honest, the ensemble's eating. I love these levels. They are sick. Part of me wished we had a whole section of just focusing on ensemble on these levels, because just that is it's such a really dope environmental factor that I wanted to appreciate more. But we felt like if you're on the floor, then you matter or you're important. And to me, I'm like, yo, these levels are freaking insane. I wish we could have had that as a moment too. But of course we have our feature in the center. Cool, fine and dandy. He has, I love that the bleed back behind. Now some of this is ingrained from their audition. Others, it's more their choreo. I love with everybody taking more stationary pedestrian approaches with the reaches and grabs down. So I like that little Ranajam forward, presents it over, and the reach up is nice. The pulls are cool. But you see what I mean? All those camera shots wasted moments to me. Yeah, it kind of honestly feels like, did we have somebody who understands dance film this? It doesn't feel that way, but that's gorgeous. Come on. I wanted to appreciate the fullness of that, and what a missed opportunity. Goodness gracious. The bleed is nice. I love that choice. And I love how he goes and sweeps that leg into the front into a jazz split. Look at the point. Gorgeous, sir. Branches it around. Nice, just, I guess it's just, I would say, not even a développé, it's just not even a grand mouvement to the side, but it's just an extension. I mean, not a développé, he just kicks it. Just, nice little kick. Did you see what I mean? Look how gorgeous that level is. Like, bop, 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 bop. And the fact it's clean, I want a whole section of that. God, it's so cool. Then from here, really nice. So then you have our 3, and yes, they're all supposed to showcase different things in Cadence to Death. One that fears, one that comforts. I'm not getting that from this because everyone's in white, but I mean, it is what it is, whatever. I love what's going on in this back here with that light. Sick. And then, so you have your 3 bleed, but like, that's so cool. I love that. Now I have a feeling a lot of those individuals here are, I mean, probably either contemporary or Korean dance, one of those two. They're the ones that placed in the second, right? Maybe. I just have so many questions as to how they itemized this, but also I did see the auditions. I just can't remember who's in what class because they keep changing it up so much. Well, but that's fine. So then you have your ensemble all moved around, which is cool. But I like that bleed over. I like that little touch reaction to help create a nice level. I love that choice. The bleeds are cool. The turn is like, oh my god, that kick is gorgeous, Yushan. It goes into a nice little back walkover situation with a step out, the little penché in the back coming from Yuchan, and then you have those on the top there. You know what it looks like to me? This looks like this was intended to look like a fixed cam, and they just decided to move all over God's green earth to showcase all the elements in ways that just, it's not flowing at all to me. I love that kick on the sole. That was nice. And then from here, we branch over to our next section. The pull is nice, so I like that reach towards the camera, and I like the levels on that is fun. The push through is great. Go down, I love that little accent with the jump from those dancers. He bleeds. And then from there, he does a little accent with the kick. We have two little, like little shoulder stands on the sides, yeah? Yeah, just a shoulder stand with a assisted leg. No, one of them dropped a little bit too early. His turn, like that was so cool. I love that turn on the knees, and then he goes into a little recover where he branches up from the base of the legs. A little hold up, that's cool. And then we branch over to hold on. It's cool. Like, he is so freaking majestic. I love it. It's fantastic. Like, all of this is gorgeous. The bleeds, I love the accents on that. Look really nice. I'm showcasing individuality there. So he has a nice little spotlight moment. But his, because of the color grade in the spotlight, his feels more like a feature moment in comparison to my previous feature, right? But that could just be me. I love that extension around. Did they have further auditions to have a main out of the three? I don't know. Based on how they did the audition, it didn't give that impression. But that could just be, it could just be me and my distaste for how this was shot. I think this is gorgeous, but we completely missed how we can maintain the integrity and the beauty of the routine with how it was shot. You know what I mean? That beginning really just left it not on a good note for me. Love that fixed point rotation around, gorgeous. Then they go from one side to when they're accenting and the little reaches there, really fun. The commitment to the hat is great. Then they all reach, have a sustain there, and then he has his pony moment. I do know that was a really nice star-studded element of the episode, was him doing that, and everyone's like, pop off, which rightfully so, I get that. And then we go and extend over to the next group here. I mean, this is so cool. Just having everybody just exist there. It's equal spacing. Oh god, it's gorgeous. And then you have your grouping of 4. I love that choice, boom, with the bleed. Now let's actually talk about this here. And they turn around of the hoom. And of course, let me see. Because it's so cut off, I can't even tell you if they're doing a détourné or if they're just turning. I don't even freaking know. Yeah, so the turn is nice. I love the rotations on the arms, and then they turn. They have a nice fixed, oh my gosh, forced arch right there and on the right side, and then they boom, bleed it through. I like the accented arms on the tail end of that. Shampoo with the arm around, boom, we love that. Nothing crazy. And then right there, gosh, that leg extension is gorgeous. Gorgeous. And then they all bleed it through, but could we have enjoyed and appreciated what they did? No, because they just only showed us about a third of that entire ripple. Do you know what I mean? I think this is showcasing the exact reason why I look at fixed cams in regular group choreography. It's because stuff like this you can't appreciate it for what it is nearly as much, because half of the battle is not just the content, it's how you're getting in and out of it. Yes, there are certain cases where it makes logistic sense to cut it to a new section because you have a solo, but there's certain things that are just unnecessarily cut that's ruining the flow, and I do stand by that, and that's okay that I feel that way. I don't know if y'all feel that way, but to me, I can't get into it because it feels like I'm getting taken out of by some awkward angle that's making me question what are they actually doing, because I didn't know how they set it up. You know, it's such a hybrid fusion, which doesn't surprise me because you're dealing with 3 different disciplines being ingrained together, and how do you do that safely? It's this. So I understand that. That was a beautiful C jump that we saw from those two. Like the chaînés with the boom, with the flick accent with the wrist. But I will say this too. I cannot tell you if even I'm giving the proper terminology for who I'm looking at for what segment, because there's different names for the ballet equivalents of what we're looking at to the contemporary equivalents to the Korean dance equivalents. You know, there's a lot of overlap in how you can do something, but the posture and how you hold it is what determines what it's called. And so for me, I don't really feel that helpful here, because what one thing could be called a détourné in ballet could be called something completely different. And same with the C jump that we saw. Was that under the contemporary lens, or was that is it called something else in Korean dance? I don't know. So that's my hang up on all of this. That's like my one qualm as an analyst, is that it is hard for me to be able to know what specifically we're going off of, but I do appreciate what we're given, you know. Just wish it was a little repackaged there, and they have the arms, and like the little arms over. I like the boom with the kick, little flick of the kick with our chest to help accent that, and I like the little coupe on the back end of that. Then they go into an attitude. I love this accent with the chest, is really cool. And so far, Yuchan did not have a feature solo moment like our first two main guys did, right? So I love the spotlight. That is really cool. And then I also had the thought, to be completely real, all of this, we've seen this promoted in the trailer from the jump of Stage Fighter, right? So part of me wishes this could have been a fantastic opportunity to done an introduction of all of your dancers. I think that would have been super cool. And then from there, who stuck out to you? You know, oh, they did, da-da-da-da, I don't know. But they didn't ask me my opinion. That's okay. We're going to just live in this together. But the arms are fine. That boom with the bleed on that. I love the breath on the tail end of that. How we're melting, creating a really nice, gorgeous line out of it. So we have our three. I love the turn coming out of that. Just the height on that's really nice. Now, I couldn't tell you. It's just a varied hybrid. Just the pickup there. The turn's nice. Then you have three facing back, which is also fine. I'm assuming they're the death in this. And then they go and they take their leg to the back. The accent up, high, low. And then you have a so aggressive. So they may have been, were they my, I think they both were in, no, all three of them were in first class, maybe? I'm just trying to remember the different auditions where they each got to pick 2-3 people to dance behind them, and some of them look familiar in that segment, so I'm going to assume they're in the same class, but they didn't get the role. Secondary. I mean, they have a whole little itemized in the beginning, you know, it's whatever. Okay, so I have this moment, and they bleed him over, yeah. So I like that there, so it was a nice little just partner work where they grab and then they're guiding and aiding our features to go and transition around. Now, our dancers in black do stand out because they're in black with the contrasting white, and we're so saturated in that white. So it's kind of works in their favor. So they go a nice little explosion of their boom with a great accent. You have your dancers of death, you know, going nice and low. We come up. But yeah, like he's got a really nice zoomed in shot there. Cool. But also, guess what? He's Korean dance. You know what I mean? It's so fascinating. And then my guy right there, was he under a contemporary? See, now I'm curious about that. Oh my goodness. So many questions. Okay, and now we have it back to this little skyscrapery situation. So we have all of our guys here just kind of holding on for dear life at the top level. And then they all explode, which is nice. But then here, this is our secondary grouping, right? Not our main guys. And so I like the boom explosion there. That is the contemporary group that ended up winning, right? So that's our little segment there. Bump, 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 hit, hit, bleed up. Cool. And then you have the other class is just doing the same thing, but then you have a group up here at the top that's lower. And I think the reason why they did that is because if you look realistically, if all three levels did the same thing, you wouldn't be able to see these guys' heads. So that's why I think they made the call to make them lower. Cool. But then we see these guys over here. You know, they're like completely hidden. Bless them. But anyway, so they're having their moment, which is cool. I love that lunge. It's gorgeous. Guys, like their port de bras is just sick to me. And they go. I like the grab with the extra intention with the lift of the chest. Looks nice. They go down and up, high, low, up. Nice little accent with the hands. And they branch it around. Boom. It does feel a little bit. That was a funny little cut finish there, right? Yeah, the reaches are fine, cool. Boom, 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 boom. It felt like we finished prematurely, but that's just the choreography or how it was audio overlaid. I don't quite know. And I caught him again in this position, which is really fun. I love the flick of that. It's really nice. Then look at these sways. Guys, that's gorgeous. I really want to see a lot more of that. That's so cool. And a nice little solo moment. Go down through, and I love how he accents it to come right back up with the extension. Very nice. I mean, God, it's so hard to like say what each of these things are because they're so hybrid to me. Lifts are nice. Was that like a jaban or something like that? That felt like a straddle leap, but we ended up, we ended up switching our hip placement. So it wasn't a true straddle because he passed through the alignment with the hip. Fascinating. That's so interesting. And then he goes into a freaking invert, like he's a breaker. That's so cool. This right here, gorgeous. I was like, yeah, that fixed point 540. My God, dude. So cool. And then he threads it through. That's gorgeous. Those were so cool. Into that little invert, like, yo, MVP of that. That mess was sick. Love that. So they had their moment. That was so cool. That was so cool. And they dropped down. Now this is really cool. We can be here for this. And it goes pull up, pull up, pull up. So we have everybody down on the ground, which is really nice for drag, drag, drag. So once again, Yu-chan did not get a solo moment for the 3 groups. Why is that? The only thing I can assume is it just didn't happen, or he's injured, or they did a secondary audition again for our 3 to get and to rank them. Or Mnet has a political agenda to showcase more Korean dance than the other 2 styles. I don't know. Which is interesting for the fact they dedicated so much time to ballet in the first episode, if that was what we were going to pull later on. I don't know. Anyway, we go. The expansion is fine. I mean, the lift is great. The aerial shot was really cool. And these little, the confetti glitters, really, really pretty. And I like the energy here, which is taking the arm, threading it through, creating a really nice moment. And they go bringing it all the way around to the outside, inside, outside, branch. The reaches are gorgeous. I like the levels on that. Like, that is really pretty. Yeah, if you see what I mean, like, that's a gorgeous shot. It's fantastic. It makes him look phenomenal. But to my head at this point, I have 3 features, but he's the one that sticks out the most to me. And part of it is because of his exposure to camera compared to the other 2. And then part of it is his movement quality. We're going to give it up, give him his flowers for that, for sure. Eye contact was phenomenal there. But then the lift on that's really cool. I love the subtlety of the lifts of the arms. We have the arms, boom, boom. And it goes tick, tick, tick. And then we have our other Korean dance individual, right? And he reaches, and then we have this little leap. This does feel a smidgen awkward because I know for me, that first one, he hops from high to low. But then the second shot, he's jumping up into his arms. Yeah. And those 2 are the Korean dancers. Where is Yu-chan here, right? Yeah, that's just, those are my big qualms with this. It has nothing to do with the dancers and everything to do with what was shot and all the featured moments. It doesn't feel, I don't know. It doesn't feel like not what we signed up for, but what we were auditioning for. It still wasn't equally distributed. If you're going to give 3 main roles, make them all 3 stand out equally, or give them all the same amount of screen time with the same amount of exposure. But whenever you operate with this kind of camera work, you're only setting yourself up for some not great things. And so this is, I mean, I hate being so constructive, but it is hard for me to appreciate this compared to the other concepts with the itemized styles. And it has nothing to do with the actual choreography. Everybody did a fantastic job with what they were given. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. But I, as a viewer who has, studied 2 out of the 3 styles we're seeing here and is a layman who is actively learning through the different techniques of the Korean dance side, this was not my favorite shot concept that they have done. And so far from what I've been hearing as well, that we're about to get into a very toxic Mnet episode, which I'm dreading because they were doing so well. And so I am hopeful that I can get in the best frame of mind to be an advocate for the dancers if we need to encounter that and have that conversation. But goodness gracious, I don't know. It is disappointing. Part of me, out of any video that I've seen of Stage Fighter thus far, I really, really want to see a full cam of this, and I would totally revisit this in the event that we do have one. So that's what I'm gonna live with here. I'm so curious about y'all's thoughts. If you think differently than I would love to hear from you. Now, what I'm saying is not anti our Korean dancers whatsoever. It's quite the opposite. I admire it so much. I mean, I did a Korean dance cover, right? And I find their movement quality so beautiful, and it's probably one of my favorite concept shoots out of the 3. And I love that they got the spotlight. I just come from the position, like I said, where you have 3 features, not 2, and you still had one that was an outlier in your features out of the 3. So that's just my notes we're gonna live with, and we're gonna move on. Fine and dandy, still celebrating these men for their accomplishments in the scene and the art, but also just remember this is Mnet, and they're finally, I think they're finally just reverting back to their old ways, which is very unfortunate. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch. I am actively looking at the full episodes of this, and I do know there's a secondary challenge that they started releasing cams of. I'm still making sure I get my ducks in a row on that before I take a look at that material, so it'll be a couple days before that stuff goes live on YouTube. And I have been actively following, and I have a ongoing thread and discussion going on Patreon with anybody who's just on it. You don't have to be a paying member to be a part of the conversation. And so if you need a safe space to just kind of express your feelings if my comments on YouTube are just not the place for you, that's there, ready and accessible for you. Yeah, I am excited for the episode, but also kind of like, I've already heard that it may not be that great, but I have no idea what's gonna go down, so pray for me. You guys know me, I know you, I'm Jess, and I will catch you on the flip side. Bye.